4th, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. is called to order. There's been notification of the news media, and after everyone takes their seats, the School of Discovery singers are going to sing "Let There Be Peace on Earth" as our invocation.
In my hand and in my heart, let there be peace. I will try to do my part. Let there be peace. I have the power. I hold the key. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace.
Wow. Really wonderful. Okay. Now, the dull item of approving the agenda. Would someone make a motion?
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. And the motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Under new business, the School of Discovery Singers are going to sing again.
Good evening, everyone, and we're so thankful to be here on today's performance with you all. The next piece that we're going to sing is entitled Bon Se Aba, and I'm going to ask one of my students if they would tell you all what the meaning of the song is. Bring it on.
It means all the people who sing with the Spirit have the right to be called the children of God.
And who can tell me what country this song is from? That's from, it's from Africa. And it's very beautiful. It is. All right, we're going to do Bon Se Aba.
You all know that they got a superior rating. Wasn't it 3 superior ratings?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, at a competition in Florida. They were nice enough to call the board right after they found out the ratings, and I invited them right then to sing. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Next, we have the South Carolina Governor's School for Arts and Humanities course summer program. And
Recognition schools.
well, they've left. Oh, are you going to get it? No? Were they supposed to leave?
They were not yet.
Somebody go get them.
Come back.
That's why I was saying it right then, because they were headed out.
Greetings, Madam
Greetings,
Chairwoman.
Dr. Harris.
Greetings, Madam Chairwoman, and the rest of our Board of Trustees. Would like to take this time to first show an example of the trophy and the plaque that they received while they were in their trip in Orlando. As Ms. Parsons has stated, they They performed in Orlando a little bit over a week ago, and they received a superior rating. Also, they received a superior rating in each of the individual categories, so that it was outstanding. It wasn't a cumulative superior, it was a superior, and I can always take comfort in that. Many of you know that I'm a musician, and that is the highest of accolades, and we'd like to salute this group for their outstanding honor, School of Discovery Singers.
Yeah.
As they go back, we'd like to also commend them. The other night, we had a little bit longer exhibition from the School of Discovery Singers. They presented at our retirement banquet. I think Mr. Norton was there, and also Ms. Onation, and it was outstanding. At this time, we'd like to take this opportunity also to recognize two members from the School of Discovery. Every year, students from around the state get a chance to audition for what's called the Governor's School for the Arts. They have, Governor's School for the Arts is located normally at Furman University. They have residential programs that go throughout the year, but they also have what they call their Governor's School Summer Institute, of which I'm very fond of. I participated in that in high school. And we had two outstanding students that were chosen from among students all over the state to be selected to participate in the Governor's School for the Arts this summer. And we'd like to recognize those students at this time.
All right, our first one is Miss Aislinn Pegues. And our second student is Mr. Kanan Townsend.
And that is an outstanding honor. These students is a very select group that is to participate in the Governor's School for the Arts, and they're selected from students that audition from all over the state. And it's not, the audition for the Governor's School of the Arts is not just isolated to students who are just in our school programs. There are students who are homeschooled, so there are a lot of students. These students have competed against, and they've represented Marlboro County well. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasant to have something like that at the beginning of a meeting. That's just wonderful. All right, we need approval of minutes for the following dates. May 7th, 2018, regular board meeting. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the May 7th regular meeting and then the May 10th, 14th, and 17th special call meeting.
That's fine. Does anybody have a problem with any of those individual meetings? No? Yes, ma'am.
I will be abstaining from, I'm only going to approve of the meeting of the 7th because the other three I was not present, but you will do it for, I'll be abstaining on those three because I was not present.
Okay, all right. So any problem with doing that as a group? All right, all in favor, is there a second? Who's second? Okay, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, the motion's carried unanimously. Thank you very much for that. Individuals or groups who wish to appear before the board, and Ms. Arlene Hall, and she'd like to speak about Stand Up for Clio. Ms. Hall. Ms. Hall, you have 3 minutes. Thank you. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Lane, members of the Marlboro County School Board, we come to stand up for Clio. In 2014, the needs of the Clio Elementary School were presented to the board. These needs were noted and accepted by the Marlboro County School District, but have not been completed as promised. So we come to provide these needs to you again. The specific needs include heavy-duty awnings in the bus and car driver walker area to protect the staff and students during inclement weather, more storage areas inside and outside of the buildings, athletic facilities to include locker rooms, showers, outside restrooms, and concession stand. While we appreciate the fencing at the school, we requested security fencing. The current fencing does not prevent or deter intruders from entering the school grounds. Technology improvements include transitioning interactive boards to smart boards and securing funding to increase technology for students such as iPads and other technology needs. We can all agree with the numerous school shootings, we never want a school shooting to come to our community. We seek prevention and deterrence to keep our children and staff safe. We begin with security cameras. Security cameras are a complete necessity to monitor the school. So we request these cameras throughout and around the perimeter of Clio Elementary Middle School. We can also add the need for a quick response from law enforcement. This can and will prevent extensive injury and loss of life. So we ask for 2 school resource officers. We request 1 at Clio Elementary Middle and 1 at Marlboro School of Discovery. We ask for both of these officers to be under the supervision of the Town of Clio Police Department and Chief Kevin Treadaway, because this is the law enforcement agency in closest proximity to both of these schools. The Mayor and Town Council of the great town of Clio has taken steps to prepare for this very important need by providing a specific plan for supervision and vehicles for both of the school resource officers. We thank you for your time, and we eagerly look forward for you to meet the needs of Clio students, staff, and the overall community. Thank you. Stand up for Clio community.
Thank you. And individual board items for the July board meeting is our nation.
I was calling for an update on the School of Discovery repair costs, and Dr. Excuse me, I'm sorry, are you talking about the July? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to follow up on that because I don't have the information as yet.
Okay.
And also Benson Intermediate School. We've got 2 issues we need to deal with.
Okay. All right. So will you get with Dr. Lane and give them that information? Mr. Woods.
Yes. School resource officer for Clio.
Mr. Norton.
Not at this time. I do have some items, but I'm gonna see if we can address them before July.
Okay. Ms. Fleming. Okay. Mr. Driggers.
The athletic fields at Blenheim are being constructed as we speak, and they are coming along fairly decent. I would like an update from Mr. Brown, perhaps next month, as far as when the completion of those fields will be accomplished.
Right. Ms. Bright. Okay. Mr. Branch. Okay. Mr. Coachman.
Yes, I would like to know the amount of funds left from the Wallace School project for completing, putting in the lights on the football field at Wallace. Know how much money is left so that we can be able to have a night football middle school game at the field this year. It's been 3 years now. I think they have the right person in place now that they do it at a reasonable price, but I'd like to know what funds we have left from the Wallace School project in order to get that complete. I think Dr. McLeod has already talked to somebody on a preview, but there's some more things that he needs to do. I need to know from where's what funding is left in the July meeting so that we can get those lights done by time the football season.
Ms. Fleming.
I would like, I didn't put this on here, but it's come to my understanding that none of the security cameras are working at this high school. And I think Mr. McLeod has brought something to us previously, but that is something that we need to do. I was told that we have more than 20 entrance doors here, and if the cameras are not working, that needs to be fixed yesterday. I know we're working on a budget, but with the staff as well as the students. If the cameras are not working and something happens, the liability will fall on this district. And if they've been out for a while and nothing's been done, we just setting ourselves up for a lot of problems.
All right, and moving on, the next thing is the Trust Your Gut Safety Plan. I'd like to tell y'all how this started right after the Florida shooting. I was having a discussion with a friend who was adamant that we should remove all guns from the country. And I said to her, it's not a gun issue, it's a mental health issue. And I stopped myself and said, as long as we have people, we're gonna have bad mental health here and there. And what this is really about is law enforcement knowing ahead of time, schools knowing ahead of time, and communities knowing ahead of time when there's someone that's having problems. And after all of the shootings and bombings and things, you always hear after the fact, well, I knew this. There were 26 calls to law enforcement in Florida. And yet it never went anywhere. And so I sat down and jotted down this plan and called the following people who responded. I called them on a Friday. I think this was amazing that they all showed up. I called Sheriff Lemon, Chief Miller, Chief Stubbs, Chief Treadaway, Ms. Lynn at Tri-County Mental Health, the DSS representatives, Mr. Toole, Dr. Lane, Mr. Parks, Ms. Comedies, and Judge Mark Keith. And I asked them to meet at the conference room in the district office. And they all came, and for 2.5 months we met every Monday at 3 o'clock and hashed out a plan. As you know, we already have billboards in the county that advertise public schools. And this plan, I'm gonna run down through this, this just to save on time. Instead of advertising public schools, the plan would involve advertising this program, which is pretty brief. It's Trust Your Gut. When you know something's wrong, call, tell someone, and protect the community. The phone issue will end up, if we work on this and put it through, having a cell phone with a number that's similar to a 911 number. The Verizon folks have said that phone companies will be willing to get on this program and make up a number that's easy to remember. We all got educated with 911. And so then it would involve having a master's level social worker or counselor who does not do guidance or clerical things or schedule people in classes. It would be someone who is primarily at the high school but also goes into the other schools for the purpose of hearing people's concerns and digging into it to investigate if someone knows that there's someone having problems and not behaving quite normally. And there are many people that we encounter that way. I'm going to read this right on through so that I don't skip anything. Violence in and around schools is a growing problem in America. The Marlboro County School District recognizes this isn't just a school problem, but it's a community problem. To help keep our schools and communities safer, we are launching a new campaign, Trust Your Gut, Call, Tell, Protect. The emphasis will be on creating a culture where people are willing and able to easily report suspicious behavior or people having problems that might result in violence. This effort will have several approaches, including a community awareness program with a central phone number to anonymous text or call in concerns. A specific person will monitor these concerns and work with law enforcement and mental health agencies to assess the threat and take appropriate action. This includes outdoor billboards, news media support, advertisements, posters, brochures, websites, and social media. Awareness programs within each school to share the initiative with students, staff, and parents. Suggestion boxes in each school where people can anonymously drop off safety concerns or other suggestions about how to improve the school. a district-level specialist to coordinate this initiative, working closely with area law enforcement and especially the school resource officers. An anti-bullying campaign for the schools, because research shows much violence has its roots in bullying of some kind, real or perceived. Hardening our schools, possibly including installing walk-through metal detectors and renovating entrances to accommodate them. In an overall community information campaign to encourage everyone to trust your gut. And if they know someone is a potential threat or having a feeling someone may be violent, to share that information with the appropriate people. Our anonymous reporting system will make that easier for everyone. This is an important and an essential initiative. We will look at the schools district's upcoming budget, but also will seek state and federal support. We have the ability to move quickly to make this happen, and we can be a model district for this type of safety information approach. And as I say, the people that participated are Sheriff Lemon, the 3 police chiefs, Ms. Lynn of Tri-County, DSS representatives, Mr. Toole was a great help in it, Dr. Lane, Mr. Parks, and Ms. Tama Dees, and Judge Markey. And Mr. Childs came to many of the meetings, and Mr. Williams, who helped prepare this. And Dr. Lane, do you have anything to add about this program?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. No more than I've shared this concept with some friends of mine at the State Department. They welcomed and actually are actually celebrating this idea that our district has developed, and are interested in waiting to see how it continues to progress.
Mr. Williams, do you have anything to add?
No, ma'am, I'm happy to answer any questions that may come forward, but I think you covered it.
Mr. Childs?
Thank you.
Any of the participants who participated with us? Mr. Parks? Anybody? Mr. Parks was in there working on a possible budget. Now, the reason we've brought it forward is for the board to say yay or nay. If you don't like it, you don't want to do it, then we pass it on to another district. If you're interested in going forward with it, we'll work on a budget and try to incorporate it in our district safety plan. Any discussion?
Madam Chairman, it sounds like a wonderful idea, and I do believe that I did attend one meeting, and at that meeting there was much discussion about the possibility for federal grants that Mr. Williams was leading us into, as well as state grants. I took the opportunity to call the State Department and can only confirm what Dr. Lane has shared with us, that they felt that this was a broad-based idea trying to deal with the mental health issue that seems to be at the crux of a lot of the unexpected problems. And there were some interest in how we would control all of that and to make certain that we had the right people dealing with the issues, both of the psychiatric situation as well as the violent situation. That was an important piece. I think we all know we don't want any of these incidents to occur in our community. So I would love to look into this more to see.
I should have told y'all too that Walmart gave us a form that they will donate $3,000 to this, and Mr. Parker will donate a car for the
and would you,
social worker.
would you be looking for the board to undertake this as a project of the board and to incorporate it into our budget, or are we looking to have an ad hoc committee? I wasn't quite sure about that.
I think we've moved far enough with this in terms of job description that's been worked on with Ms. Lynn. She came forward with a lot of requirements that the person would have to have and a job description and a possible salary. And so we've got enough together that if the board agrees to support of this, we can go ahead and finish it. But I felt that everybody had worked for 2.5 months on this every Monday, except for holidays, that we needed to know whether you all were for it or against it.
Madam Chair. I'm definitely not against it, but due to the fact that it's going to cost us money to do it, and we're still working on the budget, I think it would be a good idea to make it a part of our budget discussion.
Exactly,
approval.
exactly. But if you all
That way.
don't like it, we don't have to even go forward.
Well, I think it's worth bringing it to our budget is so that we can see the cost and see how we can fit it in and what help and assistance that we're gonna get. So,
Okay.
when is our next budget meeting?
I think it's, June, I think June 13th.
So we can put that on, for discussion.
And Mr. Parks already has a lot of the work done. We've got all of the parts together, it just has to be.
I mean, yeah, that way they will give all the other board members that haven't had a chance to see,
Right.
or didn't know anything about the plan, to
Right.
take a look at it.
Madam Chairman, excuse me, Ms. Lee. Go ahead.
Ms. Fleming?
Are you asking for a motion to, could we just, maybe I put a motion on the board, we can't, maybe we could just, can we just put it on our agenda for the budget for us to discuss this?
If you all have a consensus that you want to go forward with this, then that's all I want to know. I didn't want all of these folks to work every Monday on and on and on if you all didn't like it. If you like it, we'll go forward. If you don't like it, it goes to another district. Ms. Fleming?
I think that this is gonna be a violation of the law. You're asking this board to, asking me to approve something, report somebody just because they have a gut feeling or suspicion. And that's gonna entail a lot of legal things, and I'm not sure that at this point, this is something we need to do as a board. It may be something Tri-County has the authority. Now, we have a bullying program. Ms. Blair has done that for many, many years and brought that up. But you're asking us to say that, and we have suggested box for bullying. Some of these things that you said we're already doing, but when you're saying a committee because your gut feeling, you want me to call because I feel like you're acting funny or they maybe cause problems, that's gonna involve a lot of legal things, and I don't know if that's a road that I'm prepared to go down.
Okay, so you're opposed. Anyone else opposed?
At this time, I think that it would be to our advantage to let's look at the program and see what we've got. I think you said Mr. Park's gonna put some things together for us or whatever. Am I interpreting this right, that we can move forward with a little more information? I'm like Mr. Coachman, a little more information that we could get so we could look at would be extremely helpful to all of us. So I think my part would be let's move forward with some more information that you got. If it's next, the budget meeting, like Mr. Coachman said, bring it to us and let us review it there. That's my part.
Sure. Ms. Price, just let me clarify. I'm not, certainly it's a good idea, but is it something that falls within a board that we're asking to make decisions on mental health issues, and I don't think that, anyway, that's my feeling.
Anyone else have a comment?
Anything we can do to protect our schools is something we ought to at least pursue. Certainly appreciate the work all these people have done voluntarily to present it. And like Mr. Coachman and Mr. Driggers, a little more information about the cost and for all the board members to be made aware of where we are. And we can do that between now and Monday, I think.
Okay.
Certainly kudos for all of you for taking this to heart. And
Well, everybody really came and worked hard and participated with such a good heart. It was really admirable the way folks did it. And each of these people had expertise in various parts of the issues. But now it's come to a point where if the board's going to do it, it needs to come to the board to work on.
Sure.
Just for us to fill everyone in on the work that's been done. But the people that participated had expertise in various parts of this. It wasn't really a thing the board could work on at that point, but now it is. So, Mr.
I would
Woods,
like to
where are
ask,
you?
I'm sorry,
That's all right.
that Dr. Lane, having talked to the State Department, if he could give us a little background on that to deal with the issues of this is something the board could do in conjunction with these folks that you've talked about who are experts. And if you could help us out with that a little bit, let the State Department give us some strength there for that we can do this as a board.
Okay, and I think the workshop was what, June the 11th? I'll be happy to bring that information, yes.
Thank you.
And Mr. Parks, if you can bring the parts that you've worked on, we'll put all of these things together so you all, I'm just doing this very briefly tonight, just so you have an idea, and we can go from there. Mr. Branch, where are you on this?
I mean, I don't think we can put a price on the safety of our kids.
it's not gonna be really that expensive. So you wanna look into it more, Ms. Bright?
I wish I knew that you was working on that. We definitely need to put something in place, so it's worth looking into.
Okay.
Well, I guess you'll bring us more information.
Yeah, we'll bring it all put together and go from there. I just wanted to know, before these other folks worked any harder, I wanted to know where y'all were. So Mr. Woods, where are you?
Ms. Parson, like Mr. Coachman, I would just like for us to get more information and make sure that the plan sounds wonderful, because we cannot put a price, like Mr. Brandt said, on safety, but want to make sure that we stay in the guidelines of Area Arena when it come down to mental health service and different things, to make sure that we have everything in place.
That's
so
why we had a mental health
so we will
person
be able
and the
to
police.
see what need to be done, because we do need to protect our children and staff.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Coachman, you're a yes to go forward to look into it more, am I right there?
Yes, as far as discussing it during our budget.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Did I skip anybody? Mr. Norton?
I'll bid that a majority.
Okay. All right, so we know where we are. Thank y'all very much, and I appreciate your time tonight. Okay. Next, Mr. Woods, the CMS 2014 repair update.
Yes, Dr. McLeod, just want to ask you for an update on some of the things that was specified for Clio in 2014, the security cameras, the harness to keep the kids and staff for getting wet into climate weather, and kind of on the smart boards. Where are we on all that when they presented this in 2014? I know some things have been done, the fencing and the paving of the outdoor basketball court and other things, but do we have the security cameras and other things in yet?
Yeah, the only thing that hadn't been done was the outside shade for them to go to the cars and the buses. That hadn't been done. Also, no security cameras and showers and restrooms, and the showers and restrooms, like I said, the middle school has been moved out from down there now, so you don't have an organized team playing out of that school. So really, there's no need for that at this point in time. But like I said, I've been back to you about the cameras. Nobody's given me the go-ahead to do the cameras. We put extensive fencing out there. Whenever they said they wanted the fencing, nobody specified what kind of fencing. They said they just wanted the spectators separated from the ball players. That's what we did. So we put extensive fencing out there. It's almost like a maze. Also, we paved the basketball court. So, like I said, give us the money and we'll do it.
So the most part is the canopy for the rain, and the security cameras is the most needed right now that has not been done.
Right.
Okay.
All right, next, Ms. Owenation, the School of Discovery repair cost update.
Mr. McLeod is working on that.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that we can allow something in our bond referendum that will help us to pay for that. And specifically the roof, and also, of course, we're dealing with some relatively minor repairs. We're talking about between $55,000 and $75,000. And you can believe that I'm going to bring it up in our budget workshop.
Me too.
And Mr. Parks, I see you are writing furiously over there, right? Okay, good deal. All right, the BIS progress update. Ms. Fleming.
There's nothing to report. I don't know what has been done. Did you do the roof? Mr.
That's a Jim Brown project.
Summer proof, that'll be done this summer.
Okay,
When
now.
the students are out.
Okay, now you're thinking about tearing down part of the school, but you're going to put a roof up now. I'm just trying to put all this together in my head. The plans are we're going to we had that workshop where we were gonna fix all those back, tear down some classrooms, but you're gonna put a roof on during the summer? I mean, I don't,
Do we need to have Mr. Brown come?
I don't know who needs to, I don't know who needs to come, but if I'm fixing my house, I'm certainly, the roof is probably gonna be one of those, it's not gonna be the, go on, then tear the building down. That's what it's, that's.
Mr. Lane, why
If I
don't
may
you?
interject here, Dr. McLeod, would you have Mr. Brown at our next meeting?
I'll call him now.
Just tell him to come next.
Mr. Brown do that, that's not my project.
Okay, well, maybe when he can come next week, I don't think we need to go, I mean, I'm not a builder, but I mean, we're talking about referendum money that we haven't even passed yet. So let us focus, please, but anyway, just have him bring it next week, I can wait.
Academics progress update, Ms. Fleming.
What?
You're down here as wanting an academics progress update.
I think Dr.
Harris answered.
You kind of clarified what you was gonna bring some more information back, thank you. All right.
All right, and Bennettsville Elementary Middle School ball field lighting, Mr. Driggers. Blenheim, I'm sorry.
At the last meeting, I requested getting some quotes. I'm not sure if Wes or Tim Brown or Dr. McLeod or whomever was looking at lighting for the ball fields. Has anyone pursued that as far as getting quotes for lighting for the ball fields in Blenheim? Apparently not.
Okay. Okie dokie.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
While Mr. Driggers is on that, I just want to ask, why are we waiting on Mr. Brown to tell us how to get lighting for the ball field? The only thing we need to do is just get a bid and have the company come in and put the lighting of the ball fields in. I mean, I could do that.
For months.
Why we got to wait for Mr. Brown?
One thing we'll need, obviously, we're going to need to have some type of drawing in order to be able to bid a project like that or to get estimates. So
you can't do that.
I'm not an architect, so
Mr. Brown is the architect.
Well, he can
Have
engage.
an architect to put up lighting?
Well, he would probably have some type of lighting draw, whether or not it would be an engineering or something like that drawing in order to, bid a project like that.
I guess the Office of School Facilities requires that?
Yeah, it's been my experience, and I'm not a lighting expert either, but the companies that install the lighting for the fields, they are very capable of doing a design, showing you how many poles you need, how many lights you need on the poles to do the same thing what we're talking about. So basically what I would like for us to do is contact some companies and say, we've got a softball, a baseball, and a football field that we would like for you to give us a quote on for lighting for these fields. I think they will in turn design it for us, telling us how many poles and how many illumination, whatever it's called, that you need to go out there and see, and they'll tell us whether we need LED lighting or the regular lighting. I'm pretty sure they will handle that. We just need to contact someone, some lighting companies to come in and do that, and they'll be glad to do it for the opportunity to put it in. They'll be glad to design it. I'm pretty sure of that.
Mr. Coachman, Mr. Driggers, this issue has come up over and over again in the past 9 months.
Well,
I'm not fussing.
We discussed it before, and it's the company that our recreation department uses, and their bid and prices are cheaper than anybody that we've talked to yet. Mr. Harrington, I think, and Dr. Cloud has talked to the guy, but he needs us, for somebody to step up and say, let's do it. The money is there.
Yeah, I've contacted the same company that Mr. Coachman is talking about myself personally, and they've given us a lot better deal than anyone else has. But the last meeting, I understood now, maybe I'm wrong, we'll go back and look at the minutes or look at the video. The last meeting when I said this, I almost said their name, and you guys told me I couldn't do that, and we said we had to go and get a bid from them. And that's what I'm looking for here tonight. Someone to go forward and get that bid from them. I've got a bid from them, but I don't think I'm the man that's supposed to do it. I think someone within the school system is supposed to do that.
And Mr. Driggers, you're absolutely right. Administration should attend to this, and Dr. McLeod is our Deputy Superintendent for Operations, etc.
Mr. McLeod, we have procurement policy for this. I mean, you're our man on the scene here. Isn't he? Isn't he our
Let's
man?
back up now.
That's right.
Okay.
Because the board directly
Did we say?
ordered Mr. Tim Brown to do these things. They completely overlooked me, so that's why I'm not taking responsibility for it.
And that's true.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true.
So whenever you did that, I backed out the way, and I got out the way.
Okay.
So, like I say, if you want me to do my job, I'll do my job.
We do.
But like I say, board controls, and whenever you all gave him the direct orders to do that, I got out the way.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
right.
And I'm asking the board
Well, I
tonight.
thought we made the motion to go ahead and do this, y'all. I could be wrong, but I think we've
Let him
made
do
the
his
motion
job.
to do
We can
it.
get the lights.
Okay, and here's what I'm asking the board to do, and Dr. McLeod is absolutely right. That is part of his, it comes under his purview as Deputy Superintendent for Operations. So if the board has no objections, I'd love to defer this back to where it should be, Dr. McLeod.
Absolutely.
Do we have consensus, if I may ask?
Yeah. Okay, you may need to put
On the lighting.
Make a motion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we allow Dr. McLeod to get the pricing and the bids on the lighting for the Blenheim Elementary Middle School project and complete the Wallace School project to do his job as Deputy Superintendent.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried. So you got your walking papers. There we go. If anybody wonders why I called people in the community and sat down where I didn't have to worry about FOIA and stuff like that to get that safety program going, that's why. That's why. Because it's so easy to get bogged down.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Our board workshop for the budget is when? June?
When
Monday?
is it, Mr. Parks?
Monday.
Mr. Parks, could you bring some prices back for the security cameras for Clio? See how much that costs, please, for our budget?
Yes.
Dr. McLeod. Okay.
Got 'em already.
Okay, just can you email them to the board and so we can
He's
discuss
already
them?
done that. He's done it twice.
He owned it.
Okay.
But do it again.
Okay. Yeah, so we need to discuss that in the budget. Thank you, sir.
And Ms. McLeod, for the high school, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay, cameras here too.
You could get on that, please.
I've got the price for the high school office.
It's there too.
Thank you.
And I believe, and while we're on this with Mr. McLeod, I want that sign out in front of this high school repaired. Didn't we vote for that to say let's repair it? Didn't we? I'm not fussing at you about it, but I believe we voted for that. If we haven't, we're gonna. Okay, do we?
Next meeting.
I think we voted on it.
On price to repair,
Okay,
because we refused to buy the new,
right. I know.
so we're waiting on the prices to repair that.
Okay, so he's working on that. That's good.
So are you giving the administration permission to move forward once he gets that price, or
To come back
you want us
to
to
the
come back
board.
to the board?
To look at the price.
Well, if it's under, it shouldn't be.
May I ask the board this question, that suppose the price is $5,000 or less just to repair it, can we move forward?
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
what I'm gonna say. If it's 5,000 or less, do it.
I thought you were talking about the ball fields.
Oh, no, this is the,
Okay.
Or we refused to buy a new one.
Yes, but we
So we
need to
got to
repair.
approve the repair, regardless of the price, don't we?
I think
Pretty
we
much.
did.
Okay.
And we need to talk about this.
Can we move on
We
to
can do it.
action items?
Yes.
Let's talk about this money.
Okay. Dr. Cobb, the GCC and GDC professional and support staff leaves and absences, second reading.
Madam Chair, school board members, you have in your board packet policies GCC and GDC, professional staff leaves and absences, as well as support staff leaves and absences. Changes have been made in red, and the administration recommends policy GCC and GDC with changes in red for second reading.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve them, and so happy that the red is showing up this time.
Yeah.
Dr. Cobb.
Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Cobb. And Dr. McLeod, the Marlboro County High School USC Girls Basketball Camp in Columbia and the Marlboro County High School football camp in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve both of these trips.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried. And Dr. Harris, secondary curriculum focus and progress for information only.
Madam Chair, we just want to share that we've just completed testing for the spring 2018 school year. It was the first time that we engaged 6 of our schools in online testing. We did have one school that still completed testing paper pencil format. That testing went along really well. For being our first time with online testing, we had a technician at each school. We also had district office staff assigned to each school in the various attendance areas, and we normally stayed there until the conclusion of testing. As we moved through testing, it went along fine. We also received only our reading scores back for our elementary schools, and we want to report that we had a very successful venture with that. As you know, the state allots us 50 slots for our reading camp for students who may not have passed the reading portion of the 3rd grade test that they would need for retention. Amongst all of our schools, we had only 41 students collectively from our schools that will have to attend the reading camp. All of our schools came in at 75% or better. We had 2 schools that came in at 90% or better, 2 schools that came in at 87% or better, and then we had 1 school at 75%. But we did an outstanding job with our reading coaches. I want to ask Ms. Blair, I saw her sitting back there, Ms. Blair, throw her hand up. She does an excellent job with our reading coaches and working with our 3rd graders. We're excited to work with these 41 students. We also have been approved for 21st Century Bridge programs at McCall, BIS, Bennettsville Intermediate, of course, Wallace, and we want to say Carl and Clio. Never forget Clio. We also we'll have our summer program with our Children's Defense Fund. We also will have our reading camp, and in the high school is having numerous academic achievement programs at the high school to help bridge the gap for our juniors who are rising to be seniors, and other students who we're trying to catch up and make sure that we continue to improve upon that 83 to 84% graduation rate we've had the last couple of years. So that's some of the update that we have from curriculum. This year we also compiled curriculum guides for all of our schools and our subjects. And what we'll start to do this summer and the fall is to start to correlate those curriculum guides into grade bands so that we'll have hopefully a K-5 guide for all of our schools, the elementary schools, a 6 through 8 guide. That's a district guide that we can load on our district webpage. And then we'll have a specific guide from McCall, because we all know that McCall is our year-round school, so their curriculum guide will be a little bit different because it stretches year-round, and in our high school, but we're expecting great success from those areas in the area of curriculum.
Thank you. Thank you. And Ms. Blair, textbook adoptions.
Mr. Blair, excuse me just one moment. Ms. Blair and Ms. Blair, if we have more spaces with the 50 slots, can we reach down and maybe get some of our 2nd graders who might need some help? Would that be allowed? Would we be able to do that?
Yeah, we will be addressing those. We're not going to give away any slots.
That's what I'm saying. Let's hold on to them.
And we're, me and Ms. Blair working together on some avenues for reaching those kids and hopefully some of our second.
Okay. Ms. Blair.
Okay. Madam Chair, board members, and Dr. Lane, the high school adopted books, and we put it in your packet so that you could see that in French was 1, 2, and 3, Spanish 1, 2, and 3, then the chemistry and biology. And they have selected these books in a committee with the assistance of the assistant principal. They've also put them on display. And if you don't have any objections, we'd like to submit those titles to the State Department.
Anyone like to make a motion?
So moved, Madam Chairman. Submit those to the State Department. I've
Thank
looked
you.
at them. They look very interesting.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? So the motion's carried, and everyone voted with, and Ms. Fleming did an abstention. The financial report as of May 29th, 2018, Mr. Park.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Lane, you have before you a financial report dated as of May 29th, 2018. I don't know if there's any questions. I'd be glad to entertain those at this time.
Appreciate the information.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
And Dr. Lane, the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, and members of the board. The update will be very brief, and that Dr. Harris and others from administration have already shared with you some of the kind of things that I feel really stand out, especially with regard to testing and the preliminary results. 2 thumbs up to all of CIA, principals, schools, everyone who had a hand in making sure that testing went well, and it did. And as you indicated, all of our schools did online testing except one, and even that one still had a successful testing experience. I'm very pleased to say that, as you heard him talk about the summer bridge, we're getting $370,000 to provide summer learning experiences for our students, and this is the result of additional grant writing that happened over the past several months. I'm also pleased to say that we just successfully submitted today another grant proposal for $1.5 million to purchase equipment for distant learning, and we anticipate that grant will be approved, and we will be purchasing additional equipment that is very sophisticated. It will operate both ways, from teacher to students and from students to teachers, so that distance learning can be expanded in our district. Last but not least, I just want to mention that, as you know, schools will be closing in just a few days for students and teachers and other instructional staff members. We certainly want them to know that we appreciate all the work that they have done to help educate our boys and girls this year. And 2 thumbs up to our students. As I visited the campuses across the district, our young people have been working very hard. As the teachers have been challenging them and providing differentiated learning and engaging activities, we can see from, as Dr. Harris said, the preliminary test results that it is paying off. When the lowest percentage in our district is 75, that speaks volumes. And we have one school that has 93, from 75 to 93. I think we can live with that range any day of the year, any day of the week. So thank you very much. But having said that, let's keep in mind that our seniors who've been with us for 13 or 14 years, depending on whether they were in our pre-K program or not, will be ending their matriculation in our district so far as schooling is concerned. So let's continue to salute them and celebrate them and join them in moving and helping them make the transition. I was here Sunday at the baccalaureate services, and the minister brought such an eloquent message, and very timely too. His theme, the class of 2018 is ready for takeoff. He almost made me feel like being on that jet plane too. So it was an excellent job. In fact, Mr. Branch was here, and everything went well. Last but not least, let's really be a part of Saturday. That's when they will truly take off. So we look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lane. And before I ask for a motion to go into executive session, I want to thank one more time all of you folks that worked on the safety plan. Mr. Williams, Sheriff Lemon, I can't tell who's in here. Those of you that participated on it, would you mind standing up? Okay. Oh, there you are. Okay, good deal. This represented a whole lot of work on everybody's parts.
Before we close out.
Okay.
Chair, the letter for the resource officer.
Oh, okay.
You might want to read that
All
out.
right. Okay. Anyway, I thank you again for all of your work. And at this point now, it goes to the board to start working on it. We've spent many, many hours on it. And we'll see what we come up with. Honorable Chairperson Lucy M. Parsons, board members Dr. John Lane, Superintendent, Ray, Resource Officers for the School of Discovery and Clio Elementary School. I'm writing with regards to the issue of school resource officers for the Clio Elementary School and the School of Discovery, both located in Clio. My office is willing to provide certified officers for each of these locations, provided that the school district will reimburse the county for these officers' salaries and benefits. In light of the critical need for additional security in these two schools, I will absorb the cost to equip the officers. Additionally, I have researched the options that will allow my office to purchasing new vehicles for these officers. Assuming this option proves to be possible, I would be able to procure vehicles in this matter for all school resource officers under my command for the amount previously agreed to just for the two officers assigned to Wallace and Blenheim. Please also note that my office is able to provide victims advocate services. It is my understanding that the Town of Clio's program is currently inactive per the State Victims Advocate Office. My office also meets the financial audit requirements for the state, as we are an extension of county government. I am available at your convenience to discuss this matter further. My office can move quickly to put an officer in place once a decision is made by the school board. Sheriff Charles B. Lemon. Thank you. All right. May I have a motion to go into executive session? What, Ms. Lenny?
May I just ask a question? I'm sure, just speaking for myself as well as the audience, with the superintendent's presentation, are we going to do any, I don't see anything on this agenda where we will deal with that, are we? I think the audience, we need to know where we stand on that.
I just brought the information. It wasn't on the agenda, so we'll put it on the next meeting's agenda.
Talking about the superintendent's presentation. She's not talking about that.
I'm hearing you say, Sheriff, sorry. No, in executive session, we're going to discuss some things, but we don't vote tonight.
I'm saying for the benefit of, I'm saying for the benefit of the people that came, that participated in the survey, I think maybe they want some answers or some kind of guidance, what happens next?
Mr. Childs.
Well, in the memo that went to the board, we said in executive session, we discussed the next steps in the superintendent search process.
But the next steps could be hiring someone, right?
Well, it could be, yes.
Then our great citizens that came out, would you mind explaining to them, Mr. Childs, what the next steps is so they can understand it, so they will not call and ask me. They did take a survey, and they did hear the presentation. We're going in executive session. They need to go home with nothing. I think that as a matter of respect they need to know something, what the procedure is.
Well, the procedure is very optional with the board. You can conduct additional interviews with the candidates that were here. You can have interviews with others that were not here. If you decide that
we're not interviewing nobody else. We just do our job.
No, we didn't.
If you decide that you want to pursue discussions with one candidate, it would be inappropriate to announce that this evening until the board has a chance to look at a draft contract and send the draft contract to them for review. There's a long process.
I understand.
And the board has done a good job, I think, of keeping the public informed, and will continue to do that about the next steps. This is the newspaper for last Thursday.
We're talking about story. We got people here who were invited by this community and by this board to come. They were given a survey to fill out, and I'm sure they turned it in. Now, all I'm asking is not for me, just as for respect for the people that's here. Or, so that, explain it so they would know what the next step is. I kind of know, but they don't know.
Yeah, well, the answer is the board has not decided in what direction it wants to go
Well,
yet.
can I chime in on a little bit?
Mr. Coachman.
We made a decision to interview several candidates, which we completed that process. We narrowed it down to 4, and we talked as a board to pick one of the 4. That's what the board decided to do on our last meeting. So that's where we're at now. We have brought the 4 candidates to the public. Public has taken a survey, and they have weighed in, and now it's up to the board to make a decision. So, Madam Chair, I just make a motion that we follow through and do what we're supposed to do, and let our attorney handle the other end once we make a decision as a board, which direction.
That won't happen tonight.
I'm not asking it to happen tonight. I'm just giving the people, the public that came out here tonight, a format so that they can know where we're at in the process, and that's what Ms. Nan was asking. And I'm quite sure that's what the public and the candidates want to know, the process where we're at. And that's where we're at now.
And we appreciate the public's input. We want the public's input, and that's why we provided this forum. But now we will have to evaluate that, and we will decide what steps to take next. Madam Chairman, I make a motion, therefore, that we go into executive session to deal with personnel matters, contractual matters, new hires, resignations, if any, high school petitions, if any, receipt of legal advice, and acting superintendent issues.
All in favor, please raise your right hand.
Search should be in here.
Thank you very much. Okay. All in favor, please raise your right hand. No action was taken, no decision was made. And Dr. Cobb.
Madam Chair, board members, administration recommends approval of 3 elections.
Madam Chairman, I move to accept the administration's recommendation of 3 elections.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried unanimously. And that's it, right? All right.
Madam Chair,
Go for it.
I make a motion that we adjourn this most productive school board meeting.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Coachman.